you're already on to another book. You're writing about fertility specifically, I believe. But going back to the case against the sexual revolution, I'm wondering, since that came out in 2022, if there's anything you look back and have changed your opinion on, or would you issue any kind of a correction for something that you put in that book?
I would probably, I have said this elsewhere, but I think what I advised in the book was for women in particular, to wait 6 months into a relationship before having sex. I didn't say the obvious traditional thing, which is to wait until you get married. And I felt like that was too strong. That was too countercultural to say that. I think I would probably be a little bit braver now. But also, to be fair, it wasn't silly of me to be cautious.
No, indeed, you want to have an audience of readers who can...
Yeah, exactly. Who don't just dismiss me as a crank. I think maybe now I can embrace my crankishness a little bit more. But
now that would be possible. On sexual ethic then, and yes, indeed, waiting till marriage to have sex would be countercultural in both of our countries in the extreme. But when we talk about relationship between the sexes and the sexual revolution, it's extremely important, I think, not to just simply be against the sexual revolution, but really to propose something to young people that might offer them something. So what would you offer young people by way of a positive relationship building, life-giving sexual ethic?
Christianity. I mean, there needs to be, like, if we've learned anything from the experiment of the last 100 years, it's that people have a desperate desire for ideologies that offer meaning and that offer quite clear directives. And people really, really struggle with our religion, and they'll find ways, they'll replace it in some fashion, and I think they almost always replace it with something worse, particularly politics, and politics makes for a very bad God. And I mean, the good thing about Christianity is that it does offer a completely cohesive, self-contained philosophy and worldview, which has not just lasted 2,000 years, but has also created some of the most impressive societies in the history of the world. And so that's something, that's a recommendation, isn't it? Whereas I feel like if you're trying to design some new ideology on your lonesome, the chances of succeeding are pretty minimal.
When I first began following your work, I was already a Christian. I viewed you as a secular feminist, and it provided a really important backup to some of the ideas that I held dear. And it gave that rational aura to some of the religious convictions that I hold, which are also firmly rational. However, people tend not to view it that way. Mm-hmm. I recently heard you tell Peter Copeland on the MLI podcast that you've become a Christian, and I wondered if you expect that to change anything in how your research goes and how your message is received.
I'll have dialed the crankiness kind of public image up. Yes, I mean, I think that it is, as you say, there isn't a conflict between being rational and being, and I think I said this to Peter, for me, actually, this sounds so nerdy, but actually looking at research and data convinced me that Christianity is sociologically true in the sense that it creates good outcomes, and actually, not just generally, I mean, absolutely the ways in which Christianity directs people to live their lives, makes their lives better. And it might be a coincidence, but if it were true supernaturally, you would expect it to be sociologically true as well. Mm-hmm. And I take that as actually very compelling evidence. So I think you can be actually you don't have to say people ought to do this because it's what the Bible says. I mean, apart from anything else, the Bible can be hard to interpret. You can say, doing this, monogamous marriage, let's say, doing this has for a very long time proved to be the best way of living your life. And incidentally, the Bible does also tell you to do it. But I think it will, I hope it will, despite being a public Christian, secular people will still be willing to listen to arguments that are rooted in rationalism and in data. And also there's probably a revival happening anyway. So there certainly seems to be in Britain and America. I'm not so sure about Canada. But I think that it has become evident to a lot of people that it isn't actually possible to... Societies need religion. And that Christianity is, I think, the very best option we have. And that it sounds sort of cynical to say. I'm not making a purely instrumental argument for saying that we should pretend to believe in this thing so that we can, our societies can flourish. But I think that even Richard Dawkins is conceding this now. I think that new atheism has been pretty thoroughly repudiated at this point.